Hello, this is Introduction to Python Lesson 1. We will be using Windows for this tutorial. The first thing that you need to do is download and install Python. You can do this at www.python.org/downloads. We will be using Windows for this tutorial series, and you click this button here, download, and follow the installation instructions. Next, you will need an IDE. An IDE is an integrated development environment, and for that we will be using Visual Studio Code. You can download that at code.visualstudio.com. You might want to pause the video while these install and download. Alright, the first thing that we're going to do is create a new folder. This folder will be for our Python tutorial that we will run through. I will just call mine Python tutorial, hit enter and save that. Right click and then come to open with code. If you have Visual Studio as well, make sure that you're opening it with VS Code, which is the blue icon, not the purple icon. You want to open that with code, and then we'll come in here. And now we want to make a new file. So we'll come under the Python tutorial, we'll click this new file button, and I'll just name mine 1.py, which tells VS Code that this is a Python file. You hit enter. We're going to start by learning the print method. So you're aware, methods and functions are basically the same thing. Different programming languages call them different things. In Python, this is a method. So we will do print by typing the word print, and to execute a method, you always need these parentheses. Inside of here, we'll do quotations because print will print whatever string we write in here. A string is just a bunch of characters, pretty much. So this is a string, will be our simple message. And we will go ahead and hit Control S to save that. And then we can come up here in the terminal. We can click New Terminal. And you can see the path to this terminal is set to my desktop and inside my Python tutorials folder, which is this folder right here, and this file is inside of it. If you want to see the files that are inside of a folder, you can just type ls, and it will show you. And we see that 1.py file right there. Now we can type py, which tells this to use Python to execute. And we're going to have it execute the 1.py file. When we hit enter, you see that it returns. This is a string to the terminal, which is from that print method. This is incredibly useful when you're programming early on to see if things that you're programming are giving you the desired result. Alright, the next thing that we're going to cover briefly is comments. Comments are something that do not get executed at runtime. So you can do this hashtag symbol, and then you can type whatever after it. If I could spell correctly, that would be nice. Then you can come down here, run the file, and you'll see it does not type whatever after it. If you need a multi-line comment, you can do 3 quotation marks, and then whatever you put inside of this is also a comment. So go ahead and save that, and we will run that again. And you see again that it just says this is a string. Now if we come out here and type, if we see the errors already popping up, but if we save that and we try to run it, you'll get an error right here. And then it tries to point out where the error is occurring. You can see that it says line 10. That correlates with this right here. So we know that line 10 is where the error is occurring. And so we can just go ahead and comment that out. Save, run, and you see it runs okay again. Now we're going to go ahead and comment out that print function as well. So we'll just put that # in front of it, or hash symbol, whatever you want to call it, hashtag. And we're going to talk about variables. Now in Python, variables are very easy to assign. If we have a variable that we want to call x, we can just say x equals 4, and that's it. Now x is assigned the value of 4. Also in Python, one thing to note is that you can change the type of a variable very easily. We can make x equal to Bob, and now x will be a string. We can come back down to our print method, and we can, instead of putting quotations in here, we'll just use the parentheses, and we'll just put the variable which is called x. We can go ahead and save that, come down here, and by the way, I'm just hitting the up arrow to make that very simple to re-execute the program. And now you see that when I run the program, the output to the terminal is Bob, which is here. If we comment that out and save, Control S, come down, and it's 4. So 4 is initially being assigned to X, and then Bob is being assigned to X. When dealing with variables and stuff, it's usually pretty easy if you read right to left and just work kind of backwards. At least that's how I read code when I do it. Now it's important to know that in programming there are data types. So we will go ahead and just comment out this bit of code. And I want to go over a couple different types right now. So one type is a string. And this will print out something like x equals 3, like that. There's also floats. Floating point numbers can be something like 3.14, but you can also assign it to whole numbers. And this will add the decimal point, so it will be 3.0. And then you also have integers, which are whole numbers. So when this prints out, it will just be, x will just be 3 here. So we can go ahead and try those if we want. We can even name them different things. We can do print x, print y, and print w. And we will just go ahead and name these different things and see what the output is. Don't forget to save, and then we can run. And you see 3, 3.0, and 3. So this is a string. So the other thing you can do is we can use another method inside of the print method, which is called type. So this is a method here. So you can say print type x. And we can just copy that, paste it twice, and we can do w and y. Go ahead and save it, and then execute that, which I don't know why I opened another one. Ignore that. So we have that saved, and then come in here. So you can see the class is string, int, and float. This is important because different types take up different amounts of memory. And you can also only use certain methods with certain types of variables, and certain types of data. So this is all very, very important to know and understand early on, but this is just scratching the surface. Just some really quick notes. Single quotes are the same thing as double quotes in Python. It doesn't matter what type you're doing. Both of those will have the same string. And then it is also important to know that variable names are case sensitive. So x equals 1 and x equals 3 are not the same thing. So if we do print x here, we save that, and we can comment out this other stuff that we have above. Save, run it, and you see that we get back 1, which is the lowercase x. And if we do the capital X, save, we get 3. Just a quick note on variables. Variable names must start with a letter or an underscore. Variables cannot start with a number, and they can only contain alphanumeric, A through Z, 0 through 9, or the underscore. You cannot do this. This will not run. So if we save that and we try to run this, you get this error, invalid. So if we get rid of that, save, then you will see that we are printing everything else out. In programming language, there are different types of cases. I typically use camel case personally because I also do JavaScript development. Camel case, you would have a lowercase first word, and then your second word, you would capitalize the first letter of that. So my var equals 1. Pascal case, which I've never used that I can think of, except for, I guess with React I use it, would be like this. And then there's snake case. Snake case would be done like this. And I can't type today, but so those are different types of cases in Python. And in case you were curious, it does print any of them, as you can see, 1, 2, and 3. So Python will accept any of them. I personally stick to camel case just because I'm comfortable with it, but you're really able to do whatever. I would just be consistent. Don't switch between the three. Stay consistent so that your code has readability.